3, 2, 1, action.
We came to clear up this season's clarifications. And the main thing is, I don't know how many times somebody asked me whether I use Photoshop or not. And the idea being that I manipulate my pictures. So, no, I do not own Photoshop. The way I photograph, which as a still, straight, street photographer, the fact that I use a 28-105 Nikkor lens on a D80 camera and that it has a macro function, meaning that I can photograph any down to any size I want. The fact that I take my images out of context leads people to believe that I manipulate. Well, let me tell you, there's plenty enough manipulation between scenes, subjects, and photographic images, pictures. Plenty of manipulation for me. I don't need Photoshop. So it's exciting to do that for me, although I don't think of it that way. Some people are confused. They think that I double expose and do whatever Photoshop does. Moses once got me, said, "Dad, I'll get you Photoshop. Won't cost you anything." Uploads it. I said, "What the hell is this?" I couldn't understand what the thing. Look, I use iPhoto 8. I'm a Mac person, so I crop them now any way I want, just like Walker Evans did. Cropped them any way he wanted to, and I use the slider bar to sharpen them halfway because I was told that since I like to print big, ideally I'd like to print 30 to 4 feet, I need to sharpen them a tad. So that's it, you know, and then I carry on from there. I've done a 4x6 print, hung it on my living room wall, took up whole space, and looked at it for 2 years and decided I can't tell whether that's a film print or a digital print. So as far as clarification goes, Nick, that's about it. The medical stuff we'll get to shortly after I have my next 6-month exams. Anyway, it's volume 12.
Bill, what about what people have been saying about people who take pictures of pictures?
You know, I know that people photograph in all kinds of ways. I've looked at some books, although I don't do it much. I don't go to shows. I don't go to museums often. But I know that people are doing things out there. And humorously, for me, a graduate student someplace emailed me and asked me for an internship in my studio this summer. I said, well, maybe both of us could fit into my 3-foot by 6-foot X closet space that is now what I consider to be my studio. But I don't think so. But I'll answer any questions you have, blah, blah, blah. Thank you, I'm honored. And he wrote back, he said, well, looking at your images, my professor thought that your sensibilities matched mine. But I got to tell you that in my seminars, anybody who takes pictures of images, other people's images, is immediately suspect and subject to trial. So I answered him back, and it's actually, I put it on the blog. It was so much fun. I told him more or less that to photograph whatever he wanted to and let all the BS in the seminars float off into space as it usually does, but it's fun. I mean, people have to have stuff to talk about, and they need to get excited about stuff. But I just have always gone in a direction that made sense to me, and it was very simple and straightforward, and that's one of the reasons why I love it, that on the website we've been able to present the volumes in chronological order. So when you look at the website, BillDane.com, Bill Dane on the internet, you'll see the volumes in chronological order, and that means that the pictures are pretty close to chronological order. Obviously I move stuff around because when you present a volume, you want it to feel like a sort of visual novella, and so, you know, over time I try to make sense in the sequencing, but that's fun. Anyway, no Photoshop. And if people don't like what camera technology offers us, which is a zoom lens and a macro, then there's so many other places to go. I don't bother anybody. It's my pleasure.